Hello, this is Trey Mining here. Not giving you the weather this time, but giving you a life update. What do I mean by that? Giving my Parkinson's journey. Trey Mining is known for weather and stories here in Victoria. Great hair and amazing wit at times. But I'm also known in recent years for Parkinson's. I was diagnosed in 2019, and I'll give you a little history of my Parkinson's journey, kind of take you along with me on the ride here. About 2018, 2019, right around in there, I developed a little tremor, a little shake in my hand, and on the left-hand side of my body. Started out with my arm and hand, later encompassed more of the leg. So I went to the doctor, my primary care here in Victoria, and said that it may be a central tremor. We really don't know what it is. I'm going to send you to a neurologist here in town. So I went to the neurologist here in town, had a brain scan, had to get used to the enclosed tube, which was traumatizing to say the least, but I made it through. And they did a brain scan, and sure enough, he really couldn't tell anything from the brain scan. He said, you need to have what's called a color brain scan. And we can't do that here in Victoria. You need to go to Houston, specifically Houston Methodist Hospital in Sugar Land, where they can do this color brain scan. So we went in July 2019 up to Sugar Land to have the brain scan done. And so it was better. It was not quite an enclosed tube as it be, but the brain scan was completed. Waited a few days, and they got the message back that it has the signature of Parkinson's. I was a little bit devastated, a little bit. I told Mary Ellen, of course, my wife. But I felt, still remarkably, I felt confident that I'll just take some medicine, exercise more, and I'll be fine. So, yeah, that's true to some extent. And yet, again, it's not true to some extent as well. So I started the medicine, carbidopa medicine, as prescribed by my now neurologist in Sugar Land, Houston Methodist Sugar Land Hospital. Took the medicine, in addition to the other medicine I have here. Matter of fact, it's right here. Hang on one second. And my cyclobenzaprine, which is a muscle relaxer, just 5 milligrams. That helps out some. The main medicine, of course, carbidopa, levodopa. I was taking 4 times a day, 4 times a day, which is a lot of pills. And I'll tell you why this is important here momentarily. And also the ropinirole, which helps to reduce the shaking, or it says it does. The reason why Parkinson's happens in your body, for those that have it, because it's in your brain, deep inside your brain. And yes, contrary to popular belief, I do have a brain, people. So, because I have it on video, if you will, from the scan, from the CAT scans, MRIs. But anyway, we're losing track here. Back on track. Took the carbidopa medicine because the carbidopa, or the dopamine, I should say, should be making that gap between your brain and what controls your muscles in your brain. I don't know the exact words for it. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just kind of improvising here, layman's terms. So I had to take this medicine. It's supposed to, because the carbidopa is not getting to your muscles, that's what makes your muscles more adaptable to move more freely without being interrupted by shakes or tremors or what have you. It's not getting that needed chemical, if you will. So taking that kind of suppressed that a little bit. So at first it worked fine. And then we're talking a couple over the years here, between like 2019 and 2023, 24. Then the carbidopa medicine did work for several hours, maybe 5 hours. You'd have no shakes. Then they get reduced to like 3 hours, and then like 2 hours. That's a big indicator to the doctor that eventually the medicine's not going to work anymore. And that really concerned me and Mary Ellen as well, because then I'd fall victim to this condition that would be increasingly getting worse. There's nothing I could do about the tremors. The shakes would overcome my body, and would not be a good thing. I'd fall victim to this disease, which was not a good outlook. So, knowing that and talking with my neurologist back in Sugar Land, he said that there is a surgery called DBS, deep brain stimulation. You can look it up on YouTube about the surgery if you want to know more information about it, more videos about how it's done and what have you. Basically, it is putting one or two, you have both sides of your brain. The left side controls the right side, the right side controls the left side. So, putting two small little probes, if you will, like the size of a small wire, long though, all the way down from the top of your head down to your deep brain and toward the middle, bottom part of the brain. That's why I call it deep brain, because it's deep in there. I had one on both sides in the surgery, one on one side right here. Matter of fact, you kind of see a little bit where my head was shaved to allow that probe to be put in. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. I need to talk about what the leading up to it. So we thought about it and thinking that this could be an option. I was kind of nervous at first. That, well, maybe I'll just, without having surgery, which kind of scared me a little bit, that I could just stay on the medicine, but that, as I told you earlier, that was probably not going to be an option anymore if I wanted to stay somewhat useful and feel better. So we started the process of going to get qualified, if you will, for the deep brain stimulation. And what that encompassed was, first, meeting with the neurologist, the surgeon, the neurosurgeon, asking me some questions and looking at my case history, and I was pretty much an ideal case. Because I was also afraid that if I waited too long, that I would be beyond the point of no return, if you will, to get the surgery. So he passed me with, said our visit was good. Then I was moved on to a neuropsychologist. And that's just to see what's going on in your brain, if you're having any depression or any mental issues that might be affected or hampered or what have you by the brain surgery that I'm thinking about getting. And there was a series of puzzles. It was actually kind of fun appointment, if you call a doctor's appointment fun. They give you puzzles like, they have like a piece of paper with like 5 or 6 shapes on it, different shapes. They show you, she'd show you, it was a lady doctor, show you these paper with these shapes on it, and look at it for 10 seconds, they take it away, and then you draw on the paper, another paper, what you remember. So we did that. There was also some audio memory things where she said a word or 2 words or several words, and I recall what she said. She might say something like, the cow jumped over the moon. The cat ran around in the backyard. the dog ran across the street. Okay, Trey, what were the animals that I talked about in the paragraph I just read to you? Of course, it'd be dog, cat, cow, or what have you. So, to make a long story short on that, I did good on some things, outstanding on some things, and some things I didn't do so good. And she said that's the classic profile of somebody with Parkinson's, kind of reducing their short-term memory somewhat. Long-term memory is fantastic. I have a fantastic long-term memory. I can remember things 40 years ago like that. Tell you what I had for dinner. Tell you what the weather was on that day, or what have you. But the short-term memory was beginning to get less and less of something I can't remember. So that was a classic case of Parkinson's, memory-wise. And so otherwise, she cleared me for the surgery. So we waited for the right date, and sure enough, September 29th of 2025 arrived. Mary Ellen and I went to the Methodist Hospital in Houston in the world-famous medical center, and got ready for the surgery. Met the doctor that did the surgery, the neurosurgeon, and I went back in. Got in my medical gown and surgery gown and surgery socks and surgery gear. Got in the bed and had an IV and all that stuff. And was wheeled back into surgery. And it wasn't long until I was knocked out. I don't mean by a fist or anything, but the chemical or whatever it was, the anesthetic, knocked you out. I mean, when I mean knocked out, I mean you were knocked out. You don't remember anything. A bomb could have gone off in that room. I would have known anything and not known anything about it. But I'm glad this was done. Why? Because they had to bore 2 holes in the top of my head. So I had to get through the thought of possibly shaving my head, which was traumatic. In addition to the holes being bored into your head, small ones, tiny ones, they call them burr holes. But I'm glad I was not awake to feel or witness that. So thank the Lord for anesthetic. So anyway, they made the holes in my head. There's an old joke that Paul used to say, my grandfather, what you need is another hole in your head. So there I go. I guess I got another 2 holes in my head. Anyway, that's silly. Then the surgeon put the probe inside my head, both of them, left side and right side, down into my brain area where the I don't know the name of it. I don't know how to talk about it or anything like that, but where the area was that controls the muscles. And they tested it. And I was shaking on the table, of course, like I normally do, or was at that time. And then my leg tremor automatically stopped. And he said, it stopped. So that was a successful test. So they took the remaining wire, installed them both in my brain, both sides, curled up the wire right here, and waited for another 2 weeks. Why is that? Why don't they just do the whole thing at one time? Why wait? Good question. Here's the reason why they wait. Because depending on the individual, you don't know who's going to be affected by this or not. Your tremors could actually stop during that little break time after the first surgery. Or it may not. It depends on the individual. Because you need to be, when they test this device and see if it's working, you have to be in your full tremor mode, if you will. to see if it's working or not, see if the tremors go away because of the DBS machine device or other symptoms. But to make sure that you're in tremor mode. So it takes about 2 weeks or so. They give it that a little time to rev up or rev down or what have you. And then you come back about 2 weeks later and you have the little device put in. I don't know if I can show you, but it's right there. And I could cut right here. And but this little box about this big. And that's your control box. It's it gives the electric signal through, once the wires are hooked up. That's what happens in the second surgery, by the way. Your wires come down into the box here. The box is turned on, your program is put in, and it's time to test it. It's connected and everything. So, needless to say, after the second surgery was done, the box is still not turned on yet, because you're waiting for any potential changes that might be temporarily happening in your body. Your shakes may go away again for a short amount of time. They'll come back, but a short amount of time between the second surgery and the programming of the box in your chest. So, waited that 2 weeks, went back to the regular neurologist, not the neurosurgeon, but the regular neurologist. And it was programming time. They had the guy from the manufacturer of the DBS system, and the doctor was there. And they put the program in my chest here, in my little device located right here. So if you think about it, it's true. I have a IP address inside my body. So I'm wired. Anyway, they taught me how to program the box, and not to program the box, but to charge up the box. They put the program in. The program is on your left side and your right side simultaneously. Or I could turn one side on, one side off simultaneously, or turn the whole thing off. So once the device was installed and the program was loaded in, they turned it on. They kind of messed with the controls a little bit to see where I was. But as soon as I turned it on, the tremors went away. And that was a great feeling, because I was shaking like this, probably a little bit more worse than that. But as soon as they turn it on, it just stops a lot like that. And also, this is a typical exercise when you see the neurologist regarding Parkinson's, this right here. Before the DBS surgery, I could do this. This side was more like this, very slow. This side was normal. I was pretty much normal on this side here. So this is before the DBS surgery. And then after the DBS surgery, both hands. It's pretty amazing. And in addition to the walking down the hall, because if you walk down the hall, test, if you will, the doctor observes you walking down your hall. You take small steps, kind of shuffle your feet back and forth a little bit. And that's what I did before the surgery. And then after the surgery, walked down the hall with big, broad steps like a normal person. And even Mary Ellen teared up a little bit and said, "Oh, I hadn't seen that in a long time." So that definitely was an emotional moment, and I felt that this was the right thing for me. And so far, now over a month now since I've had the surgery, it's really remarkable. It really is quite a difference in my overall outlook, how I feel. I still have to take the medicine, though, because it's still important that you take the medicine. Because even though you're having a connection up there and the tremors stop, what's really needed is your carbidopa to be, your dopamine to be in that system up there, and you're going through your brain cycle or whatever in your bloodstream. So that's where the carbidopa medicine comes in. So I still have to take that. At least so far I have to. But gives you a better outlook. I feel more energetic, as a matter of fact. In addition to the reduction in the tremors, they're just about gone or are gone. for most intents and purposes. They, you feel more like smiling, a better outlook, more comfortable in your own body, in your own skin. So basically that's my story. So I feel it's my calling. I think things happen for a reason. Sometimes we don't understand what the reason is or understand it at all, but there is a reason behind everything. I think God is in control. I know that God is in control. And I feel like in addition to me studying weather and enjoying music and everything else I enjoy in life, my beautiful, sweet wife as well. She's a beautiful person. And she's really has been an inspiration and helped me during this surgery. And I can't thank her enough. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. If you're thinking about this surgery, get with your doctor and go through the process, and he'll help you decide if it's the right thing for you. I said I feel like it's my calling from the good Lord to tell people about my experience. Not anything special by any means, just a guy, just here. But I feel that I could tell people about my experience, and they don't have to be embarrassed, don't have to be ashamed, don't have to be afraid. They can tell others that they have this condition, and don't have to let it control your life. Have a positive attitude, be prayerful, exercise, of course, do what your doctor says, and don't be overcome by this. Don't say, woe is me, I have this Parkinson's and my life is over. That's far from the truth. You can do whatever you want to do successfully. And DBS surgery, if it's right for you, which I hope it is, will really help you to be all the best person, not all be the best person you can possibly be. You still have a lot of life in you. No matter what your age, you still have a lot of life to be lived. And don't let this hold you back. Don't let this control you. Don't let this cause you to be depressed or anything like that, or think your life is over, because it's not over. It's learning how to deal with it. So if you're thinking about the surgery, you can comment on this video, and I'll get back with you and tell you more about my experiences or any other issues you may have. I want to thank you for watching, and I appreciate you tuning in for almost half an hour here on my journey. And especially appreciate the love and the care that many people have shown me. It's really a blessing. Blessing the people in your life. You know, I'm going to get off on a tangent here. We're in a money-crazed society. All we care about is money, seems like. But when it comes down to it, something more important than that. That's people and the good Lord. You have those two, you're going to be fine. I promise. Have a good day, good night, or whenever time you're watching this. And I appreciate you watching. Thank you for listening to my story. Have a good night. God bless, and I'll see you later.